GG, they have just put out a post going over some of the post-launch feedback. I just put out a video last night, woke up to this, and let's go over it. I'm going to read it for you. Hi everyone, the launch weekend has been a blast. We've really enjoyed seeing all of you get your hands on the game and finally try out the project we have been working on. But now the launch week is over, it's time for us to look at the feedback and make some changes. Good. There's a lot more coming. The list in this post are some of the things we felt needed to be more urgently addressed. Some of these changes have already been deployed without a realm restart. Others will be deployed later this week. First up, dodge roll changes. A lot of people are complaining about this, getting blocked by monsters, wanting phasing. Let's see what they have to say. A lot of players have expressed frustration about being trapped in by monsters. This is alright. While it is intended that monsters are able to trap and kill you, we felt that the frequency of this was a little too high. This happened to me a few times, not too many times. Most of the time when it did happen to me, it was actually a skill issue, but let's see what they are planning to change. We'll be deploying the following changes in a patch tomorrow. Player size is now set to 0 units while dodge rolling instead of 1 unit. Some smaller monsters can now be pushed while dodge rolling. This is great. I thought this was how it was supposed to be. This includes monsters such as the adorned beetles in Keth. This should result in getting trapped less often. Note that you can still get trapped. A player size of 0 can still not phase through monsters, but it'll get through even the smallest gap between them. I like this. I think it'll be good. I think you should still be punished if you get yourself in a bad situation and get cornered, but it did sometimes feel weird and like a bit herky-jerky, like you're rubber banding. So let's see how this feels, but they're hearing you guys and they're changing things. Now, checkpoint changes. A lot of people have been reporting that it can be tedious to retread areas of maps in order to get to objectives they've already found. We'll be deploying the following change in a patch later this week. Clicking on a checkpoint will allow you to teleport to other checkpoints in the area that are explored in your minimap. Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. That's really cool. Checkpoints have been added to all entrances and exits of zones to allow for teleportation. A checkpoint has been added to the midpoint of the first Dreadnought area. We'll be making further adjustments to checkpoint positions as we continue to gather feedback. This actually is a pretty cool change. So a lot of the zones in PoE 2 are massive, like really, really big. If you think about a game like Diablo 2, if you look at Act 3, for example, that map is really big. However, the thing is that there's all these waypoints dotted along the areas. It's essentially having zones without the loading screen, and then it is broken up with having zone names and then the waypoint in that area. This kind of is a bit like that, where you now have the checkpoints dotted around and you can teleport where you need to go. So I didn't really ever feel like I was really struggling with this, but I think it's probably a pretty good change. It's going to be interesting to see how it feels, especially if you die and you want to go back to another checkpoint. But all right, let's move on. The big one, item changes. One of the major problems people have been experiencing is feeling that the game is not rewarding enough. This is an area that we have to be careful when adjusting because it's very hard to reduce drops if we increase them by too much. We've identified a few key areas that we believe will significantly improve the experience that players are having. This is very true. Thing is, if they push it too far, now too much loot is dropping and then they have to nerf it, that's when people start raging. So they do have to be very careful. Let's see what they are planning to change. They've broken this up into currency changes, map mod changes, unlucky drop protection. So rare monster changes. This is something I covered in my last video. We felt that rare monsters were not rewarding enough. This didn't affect the campaign as much because there were more unique bosses, increasing the overall amount of drops, but especially noticeable when playing in the endgame where unique monsters are less common. In particular, the reward you were getting for the increased difficulty of rares wasn't lining up. We have deployed the following changes. Rarity bonus per rare mod has been doubled. Plus 10 quantity bonus per rare mod. Increase the chance of rare monsters inherently having more modifiers as you progress through the endgame. Okay, so things are harder, but hopefully you drop more stuff. I'm not exactly sure how much this is going to affect the drops, but like I said, they're being very conservative here, and then they'll rather add little bits at a time, see how it goes, rather than just doing a big thing, realizing it's too much, and nerf. These changes will cause rare monster rewards to naturally scale up as you get into higher levels, because the number of mods a monster can have increases throughout the campaign and into endgame. In addition, many other forms of map juicing will indirectly cause rare monsters to have more mods as well, increasing the rewards of those other mechanics too. Also note, the change below to make sure each map has a minimum number of rares, which will also increase the average number of rare mods, and thus increasing drops further. Alright, I haven't actually made it to the end game, so I don't know how it has been feeling, but I have heard people saying like the loot feels extremely scarce in the end game. Let's see the currency changes. Huge. We felt that players were not getting enough currency either in the early game or to sustain adding mods to maps. We've deployed the following changes. Regal Orb drop rates increased by 40%. Disenchanting of 6 mod rares to give 2 Regal shards instead of 1. Lesser Jeweler's Orbs drop rates increased by 33%. Reduce the drop rate of Chaos Orbs slightly as they are less valued, and so that it doesn't consume so much of the rare currency drop pool. This causes currency such as Exalted Orbs to increase. Okay, this might not make sense. Certain currency items have like a rarity tier, and if, let's say, a tier 3 currency item can drop, I assume what this is saying is by making Chaos Orbs rarer, it means that like if a tier 3 currency item could drop, which could be, I don't know, an Exalted Orb, or like a Chance Orb, or an Alchemy, or a Chaos Orb, it now has a higher chance to be an Exalt because Chaos Orbs are rarer. Gem Cutter's Prism drop rates increased by 500%. I assume no one was finding these. Gem Cutter's Prisms now increase quality on gems by 5% instead of 1%. Wow. Okay, I hadn't found any, not in the end game, but they just made these things about 25 times more common. Cool. Map mod changes. Like with rares, we felt players were not being rewarded enough for the difficulty that was being added by map mods. We have significantly increased the value of all prefix map mods. We have changed all map prefix mods, but some example changes we have deployed are: rarity mods have been increased by 2.5 times, quantity mods have had an extra rarity added to them. We removed the bottom tier of some mods. You are much more likely to roll mods that affect drops or pack size rather than less useful mods. In addition, it has been identified that some areas are not being affected by the increased number of mods packs mod as they should be. We'll be fixing these maps to work correctly in a later patch. Next, unlucky drop protection. I'm very curious about this. One of the major issues we have identified are outlier unlucky drops. A single unique boss dropping badly, especially early on, can significantly affect your character. I said this yesterday. A lot of people who might be having a bad experience may have just got unlucky. Some people having a great experience may have got lucky, and that doesn't feel super great. So let's see what the changes are. We've deployed the following changes. No more than 50% of a unique monster's drop can be gold. Axe bosses and map bosses will always drop at least 1 rare. Okay, be nice if it was a little bit more, but I guess baby steps, and then push it further if it still feels bad. The first of these changes is more significant than it first appears. Oh, because players can't see the difference between normal and rare gold piles. You will get more equipment and currency items, which can take more advantage of the rarity increases that unique monsters provide. Okay, so maybe if a unique monster could only drop 6 things, and 4 of those things were gold, by dialing this back, it now means you have a high chance of getting a unique or a rare. So let's see how this feels. It might seem insignificant on the surface, but it might actually feel better. Let's see what they say about click to move. I actually haven't even played PoE with click to move. There was an issue where the move only command was name locking. This would often result in your character confusingly attacking in an unexpected direction while holding down this action. Oh, they have changed it so that move only no longer name locks. They've just fixed it. And then let's see Endgame Maps. Concern for players in the Endgame Maps is accidentally missing rare monsters. In addition, many maps did not have a number of rare monsters they should have had. we're making the following changes. Rare monsters now appear on the mini-map when there are 200 monsters remaining instead of 50. Many of the maps have had additional rare monsters added to them to make sure that there are a minimum number in every map type. Over the coming weeks, we will be continuing to work on map layouts, monster density issues in maps. In conclusion, we'll be posting the patch notes for these changes when they're deployed. For a full list, check out the patch notes here. So there are still a lot more changes to come. These are just some of the changes that are fast for us to make. I think this all looks good. I know a lot of people are unhappy. If you are someone who feels like, oh no, everyone hates Path of Exile, what's going on? Why does everyone hate the game? The reality is, people who are enjoying the game, which is probably most people are loving the game. They're too busy playing Path of Exile to go on Reddit and complain or tell you how much they love the game. They're just blasting, they're having fun. There's like a negativity bias because everyone who is not enjoying the game is not playing it, so they're on Reddit getting upset. Game is, I think it's brilliant, phenomenal, but there are so many little just small things that they could do like this that would take it from like, I love this game to everyone loves this game. We'll see how it goes. These are a lot of changes. I'm very excited to see how it plays out. I really hope that Regal Orb drop rates are going to feel as good. 6 mod rare items giving 2 Regal shards. We'll see how it feels. Like I said, they want to take baby steps with these. They don't want to do too drastic a change because then we go from like feeling like it's Ruthless mode to feeling like it's PoE 1, which the loot is possibly excessive. So let me know what you think about all these changes. I'm very excited about it. This isn't out yet, but knowing GG, it'll probably be out in, 24 hours or so. And then we'll be able to test it. They'll get feedback, and then we'll see from there. So keep providing your feedback. Just remember, if you have criticisms about the game, please substantiate them. It's incredibly frustrating for people to post their opinions as fact, where they say, this is bad, and just like drop it. Like, think for 2 seconds, all right? Why is this bad? Why do you not like it? Explain it. Argue your point, because that is actually constructive criticism where they might be able to say, hey, oh, that's a really good point. But if you just say, oh, this is bad, then like everyone just thinks you're an idiot and it's unhelpful and it's just boring. So anyway, have a wonderful day. I'll catch you soon. I'm going to be streaming later today. Have a wonderful day again. Bye-bye. Catch you later. See ya. My outro is completely boring.